Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meet an Entrepreneur. My name is Deborah. I'll be your host on this show. And today I have Armando here. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Armando Salgado. I am the owner of Lingo Marketing. As you kind of see behind me here, a couple of the different things that we do. Thank you, Deborah, for having me on here, and I can hopefully share a little bit about what we do and any experiences that may help your viewers.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
Mhm.
So, Lingo Dogs, what it is?
Lingo is a multi-service marketing agency, and what that means, people when they ask me that, they ask me, "What does that mean? What do you do?" I know I brought a backdrop here, but there's a couple different things that are listed in that banner behind me that doesn't do the entire company justice. I'll list them down. We do printing, we do signage. So any type of signage, pretty much any type of printing that you need, from business cards to, you want 100,000 public magazines, we can do that. Banners, any type of signage that you want, except the big, huge electrical signs that you see on big, huge buildings. But from banners to card magnets to large format decals, floor decals, you name it. If you want to wrap your car with, all your logos, we can do all that stuff. We do screen printing, so screen printing on T-shirts, hoodies, whatever, anything that you can screen print on. We do embroidery, so your polos, your hats, your bags, stuff like that. That a lot of people would want for their uniform teams and business apparel, all that. We do tons of websites. We focus more on the small business, which is, a good 95% of all of the United States is small businesses. From restaurants to construction to really any type of business that would want a website. We can do an e-commerce website or just a simple informational. I'm a restaurant. I need to show somebody my menu website. Graphic design, of course. I have staff that do, the websites, the graphic design. We have a translation service, only just English and Spanish, Spanish to English. So we focus on manuals, websites, stuff like that. Larger things that we don't really do the one-piece letters or anything. We want to do the big, huge, manuals or the books and structural deals. If you have a website that is just in English, we would translate into Spanish and vice versa. Uh, we have a virtual assistant service. So pretty much it's like hiring me, hiring an Armando which is who is bilingual, fully bilingual, English and Spanish, virtually. So what does that mean? You have somebody that's there answering your phone calls, making your phone calls, your data entries, your social medias, managing your website, pretty much anything and everything that you can do virtually. So that person comes in with their own number, their own communication tools, everything that will be there to assist you, pretty much for a fraction of the cost. So you save on workman's comp and taxes and all that, high salaries. It's a really cool service. Um, we have various other real estate marketing services within. I brought two pieces actually that we do. I publish Vida Social magazine, which is a bilingual English Spanish publication that we've been publishing here in Omaha, Nebraska for 11 years, a little bit over 11 years now. It is something that makes it very educational at the same time, and people can advertise to both, not just the English speaking community, not just the Spanish speaking community, but we use it to go to both different communities. So at the same time, of course, it's a free publication. It's printed, and of course we distribute it electronically. Email blast, the social medias, our website, everything. But you can pick it up at a grocery store. Also, we do door direct ads, which is I usually tell people, what is door direct ads? It's a huge mailer. I mean, if you guys can see the actual proportion of it, it's really big. Is what we send out thousands of these through a certain zip code. We promote buying local, right? Even though we can ship business cards and banners to across the nation, but we also promote local here. This is something that we promote even local, meaning community, like within your zip code. So if you have a restaurant, so for example, we have Margarita's restaurant here. You say, if you're all the way out west Omaha, there's a couple other restaurants or Mexican restaurant, because that's a Mexican restaurant. Are they going to go across town? Most likely you're going to shop around closer to home, blocks from your home. So what we do here is we send thousands of these with your ad on it, closer to your immediate neighborhood or zip code versus going across town to, buy insurance or go to, whatever, So we have, this is really successful. It's really cool. It's very low cost compared to doing it yourself. There's a couple other things through Lingo Docs, but I also own a construction business. It's multi-level contractors. I also teach business and construction at Metropolitan Community College. I own a shipping service, so we do domestic shipping and international shipping, primarily to Mexico, Central and South America. We could ship to China, I guess, but that's not our target audience. We target pretty much Latin America, who, for example, anybody from, let's say, in Colombia, they want to buy something from an American-owned business, and that business does not have international shipping. So they ship it to us here. So we provide them a U.S. address. That's their physical address. We grab that product arrives, and then we ship it down to their country. It's a really cool service that assists, that is bigger than just United States, bigger than Omaha, bigger than United States. Primarily we do a lot of business to Mexico. So it's something that keeps us really busy. I do some real estate. My wife's a realtor, so we keep really, really busy within that as well. And it's I think I'm a very serial entrepreneur. I think I'm addicted to starting businesses, and I have an idea, and I want to do the idea. And luckily, I have a very understanding wife who's also very busy. So we both keep busy, and we like to, put our hands to everything that we come up with, I guess. So I condensed it as much as possible. One of my biggest passions is, of course, teaching the being an entrepreneur. I teach both. It's called the Business and Contractor Academy, that I do in Spanish, mainly in construction. We do have, businesses that start restaurants and, clothing stores and tow truck companies, stuff like that take part of that overall course. And then the second half of that course is strictly construction. And I also do it in English, which is called the Entrepreneur Crash Course. It's just a 4-week course that focus on the immediate needs of a business, something that you could do tomorrow. Not so much the theory. I don't get stuck so much in the theory of business and selling you a dream. I'm more of the realist. Look, you're gonna work minimum 15-hour days if you really want to be successful at first. Do your taxes. You have to pay insurance. If you have employees, you have to. Do you know what FICA is? Do you know that you have to pay a little bit more than just your hourly or salary wage? Labor Department, IRS, registering your company, the costs associated with that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of my students do kind of get a little scared. Because they think it's just, look, I have a great product or a service, and I just want to sell it and make money now. And that's where usually it stops. Then I tell them what the real life situation is, what Uncle Sam is gonna do if you don't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's more that's a lot that's my passion, and I've been able to help and uh, personally help create over 75 companies here in Nebraska of registered tax-paying businesses. So I've been able to help increase the economy by more taxes into the state, more employment. The insurance industry grows through my course indirectly because a lot of the businesses have to get insurance, of course, and more revenue overall and better life. I believe a better life for these students that go through my course, and a lot of them are very, very successful. So a little bit of everything I do.
Thank you so much for everything that
Yeah,
you do. So, as you can see, he is a one-stop shop when
pretty
it
much.
comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to business, all areas of business needs, when it comes to taxes, marketing. And I would like to mention here that Armando, he played a huge role into implementing my business sales. He helped really start and lay a very good foundation. Thank you
Hmm.
so much for that.
No, thank you. No, it's an honor for me to always help and give advice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I always tell people that I said, there's a lot of education that you can go through,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I believe the biggest resource you can have is meeting people like yourself. You're very intelligent in what you do, and I learn from you as well as I learn from my students because a lot of them are very intelligent, very hungry, and they come up with brand new ideas, that feed me as well. I remember that I got to remember to never stop being hungry, and always remember how I started, which got me to where I am now. And business is not about saying I'm happy how I am now. This is exactly how I want it. Because I believe the day that you say that, that's the day that your business will start going down. You should always want more, want to grow more, even if it's by 0.5%, right? It's always growing your business more, always wanting to have more revenue, have maybe hire more employees, sell a new product, something, but you should always go up instead of saying, I'm happy where I'm at and that's it. This is where I want to stop. That's the day that your business is gonna start dying.
Okay. So, how did you find yourself in entrepreneurship?
That's the that's a huge long story. I'm gonna try to condense it in a good 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an immigrant. I was born in Mexico. I came to the United States like many thousands of children come to the United States. I call it coach class, meaning not the I'm gonna say the channels of the visa and all that stuff. As a child, you come to this country and you go through the naturalization, procedures that a lot of people don't understand. And I was lucky enough with mom and dad to be able to be naturalized, be a resident, and then apply for citizenship. I've been in the States for since I was 5 years old, 6 years old, and I grew up in Washington State. Moved to Omaha, and my parents they were farm workers,
Mm-hmm.
and which was pretty much new modern slavery, where they worked in hops. They worked in the hops farm and picking apples and cherries and grapes. So I worked. That's where I was at, that environment, and we moved to Omaha in '96. Every since my parents were very, very poor, I think we were even better in Mexico than where we were at in Washington, Washington State, and everything that I asked for, I had to earn. So there wasn't, hey, dad or mom, can I buy some shoes? Can you buy me some shoes, or can I get that new toy or game, Nintendo game or whatever? It was always more of a, yeah, you can work for it and you can buy it yourself because they can barely pay the rent and groceries and whatnot, the essential needs. So that's what got me to start from picking cans, aluminum cans. Cans are, if nobody knows this, but you pick cans and you could sell them, and you can sell them by the weight, right? So when I was like 9, I believe 10, I started putting sand inside of the cans and squishing them because I understood that the more I weighed, the more money I got. So nobody knew. Actually, I told my dad when I was very older. I said, "Dad, you know that I was always putting sand or dirt, inside of those cans?" He's like, "I always wondered why we were getting more money because I didn't believe." So that's where I started. My brain started working, selling. I was going out to the fields and selling sodas and just food, and knowing how to reinvest that money back into the business and grow it from there. Always living frugally, not spending your entire money on brand new cars and widescreen TVs. It was more, here's some money, invest it back into your business. Keep it feeding you and growing and always turning it back into the business. Because as you do that, nowadays, now fast forward years, I went to UNO. I learned how to, I guess, my entrepreneur spirit was always there, and I was able to buy my first house when I was 18, right out of high school. My parents lived in my home, and I was able to learn from that as well, and say, you know what, don't be afraid, as long as you're following the rules and following the steps of, okay, here's some money, that you have to pay. Just because you have some money doesn't mean that's it. There's a price to pay when you have success. There's a huge price to pay, especially with taxes. The more money you make, the more taxes you pay. I usually tell people that complain, I pay tons of taxes. I high five them, right? Because what does that mean? You just made a lot of money. Well, nobody wants to give back their hard-earned money, right? So you have to find ways to reinvest it back into your business, so you don't have so it's more of an expense, an investment, not having to pay back so much money for Donald Trump to go golfing. It's reinvesting it back and growing, so that one day you could pick those fruits and get to eat them. And there's ways to do that. It's always, of course, you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the law. But there's ways to do it where you could be more successful and have more money, I guess, and while helping others at the same time.
So you have multiple businesses and businesses that are very successful. What advice would you give an entrepreneur that's struggling with one idea?
Be realistic. Be realistic. A lot of the saying of be passionate about something. Yes, it's good. I believe now I'm passionate about my overall process of starting a business. I don't think I'm passionate about printing business cards, but I'm passionate about the process of how to market, print, deliver, and collect that product, right? So there's a lot of people, I believe, that are so passionate about something. They have an idea or a product that sometimes it they don't know how to monetize it. Okay, so a lot of people come to me and say, Armando, I have the best food, or I have the best construction, or I have the best consulting, and I said, I can guarantee you there's somebody better than you, right? There's always somebody that's going to be better than you. And if there isn't somebody better than you, you better move so fast and speed up so high that you don't have a lot of copycats coming after you. That's going to happen. That's business. So be realistic about your dreams. This is going to sound very cliche. This is going to sound very, maybe not as nice, but I personally don't believe in dreams. I believe in goals, right? I know it's kind of funny, and I don't say that too much, but dreams, you wake up and it was just a dream, right? So, but if you set yourself a goal, say, okay, my goal is to do this new business or start this new, venture, then you set yourself realistic goals and say, okay, am I really going to make money off of this? Is this a hobby? Is this something that I can moonlight, meaning I can do it after my full-time job? Or is it something that I could really, I have enough savings, I need to focus on it for it to be successful. If you're doing it part-time, I don't believe a business can be successful unless you jump off that cliff, off that mountain and say, I'm just going to let go, I'm going to jump, and I'm going to focus 100% into making it happen. Just make sure you have your parachute on, right? So it's something that's very, very important for people to understand. And most people are so scared, are very scared of jumping 100% into that, in starting that business. Because there's bills, there's kids, there's medical, whatever, there's benefits, 401ks, there's so many things that people have. You're like, well, once I start my business, I don't have any of that. You're no longer working 8 hours a day, you're working 15 hours a day, right? So what do you do? Well, I always tell people, I'm like, do your education, save up, don't try to spend and have the best, beautiful furniture, or whatever. Do what you need to do with bare bones, stretch your money as much as you can, and you will see that your money will start generating, start getting traction and start moving really fast. Because there's a lot of business people that have gone into business, and I call them, and that's this is another mean one, I call them hamsters. You know what hamsters do? They run really, really, really fast in the wheel, but they're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So they feel happy because they are busy. They're keeping themselves busy, and they feel like they're being successful by being busy. Some of them, I've heard them say, I'm so busy that I don't even have time to eat. Like, Armando, I'm fine. I don't need advertising because I'm so busy. I can barely keep up. Well, if you've been like that for various years, what kind of successful business is that? You're so busy that you are probably not going home at 5 and you're going home at 8 and then working at home. You're so busy that you can't take that vacation and take your kids. You're so busy that you're pretty much a slave of your own business. Success is having the freedom to let go and have the business go and be on its own, kind of like your child. You're like, okay, don't fall, and then you teach them how to walk and run and feed them and whatever until they can take off on their own. That's true success. I don't want to be working on weekends, and I don't want to be working at 9 p.m. at night. I want to spend it with my kids. I want to spend it with my wife and make sure that, to me, that's success. Even if I'm not a bazillionaire, I want to make sure that that business will continue growing, even though I won't be there half the time. So that's just my own definition of success. Many others think that definitions of success is having $10 million in the bank, in the checking account, and $10 million with no time to take advantage of those and actually have a good time with that money. Why do you need it?
Exactly.
So,
That takes me to my next question. Why is it important for startup businesses and any business to advertise or to use marketing services?
it's very busy, or I'm sorry, it's very, very necessary. Um, Unless you're like the only one of its kind, okay? If you guys can come up with a brand new product or service that nobody's ever heard before, and you're talking about millions and millions and millions of people in the world with probably the same idea that you think you already had, somebody probably already had it, okay? So, but if let's just think that you created the next Facebook, okay? great. It'd be a lot easier for you to advertise something so unique, right? That now there's a lot of copycats, of course, after Facebook came out. But if you can come up with something like that, then it's going to be a lot easier to advertise, right? You don't won't need that much to let a lot of people know that you're the only one. If you think you're number one at a certain thing, that's not realistic. I'm sorry to burst people's bubbles, but I don't say that, I feel like I'm number one. Am I number one? In my heart, I am. I deliver the service as much as possible to be number one, be as professional and deliver on my promise. But at the same time, you know, what people buy, if they're buying something, they know what it is, then, here it is, you paid for it, and we delivered, right? You have to advertise to grow. So there's a lot of, I'm not going to say free ways. A lot of people don't provide a monetary value to their time. So when people are starting a business, they say, well, I don't have to pay myself. I can do Facebook and it's free, right? Well, no, it's not free, because you are taking your time to do it. And if you're not paying your time, if you're not giving yourself a value, a monetary value, then you're not being a very smart person, in my eyes. Yes, when you start, you might pay yourself a lot less, but you have to pay yourself something. There's a couple circles in advertisement. There's your friends and family, right? I'm going to say your family first, and they're the ones that are not going to want to hurt your feelings, and they might buy that whatever you're selling, and they're like, sure, but that's only going to be once or twice, and they're like, no, thank you, we already bought it from you, we helped you out. Then there's your friends, there's the second circle that may or may not buy from you, but will help you promote you. They're like, you know what, I don't need that, but let me tell all my Facebook friends about you. So that helps you. Then there's that third acquaintance slash, Armando, I saw you at the last conference. Can we connect, right? Person to person, but you can't be everywhere. That's impossible for you to be everywhere. So that's when you have to start advertising. Either print advertisement. Now it's a lot easier to pay Facebook money and make them a lot more richer, or Google and blast your ads a lot of different places. This video that we're doing is a great example of you doing a great marketing, because people were going to be interested. Hopefully people are interested in my boring stuff that will want to view it, meaning viewing you, viewing your channel, viewing everything that you have to say, and wanting to follow you even more. So that creates that chain that, of course, social media is all about. But you have to remember that it's I call it a lot of fluff. So you see numbers when you buy advertisement in Google or Facebook, and you say, wow, 140,000 people saw my video. Okay, so what return did you get on that huge number? What if I say I can give you 100 viewers and 50 bought from you, versus 100,000 viewers and 50 bought your things? Which was more successful,
100 viewers with 50.
Correct. I give you 50% on your return, versus look at all these people that had to watch your video for you to get the exact same return for a smaller, more concise, direct to the point, or thought out process, right? A lot of people don't. They get the fluff. They get manipulated by the high numbers that these things show you, versus like, well, I don't want to buy an ad in your magazine because I can just do it on Facebook and I get 20,000 viewers versus your 15,000 prints, and I'm like, okay, great, perfect. Let's see who where are you going to get more return? And then Facebook just went richer. So there's very particular ways for you to do social media, do print ads, do radio, do networking. Networking is probably the best way. You're great at this. If you have the time, for those that don't have the time, network is really hard. Because if you can join a lot of groups, dig yourself and not be afraid. One big advice: if you are thinking of starting your own business, you are telling yourself and you're telling others that you are going to be a professional salesperson. Okay, and this is where people lose their mind, because they're like, well, I'm too afraid to interrupt an entire room of 50 people and say, excuse me, everybody, can I have your attention, and say, my name's Armando and I'm selling business cards. Nobody wants to do that. Okay, because it's very nerve-wracking. It's very embarrassing. It's your heart starts racing, and then you know what? At the end of the meeting, you're just like, oh, next time, I'll do it next time, and next time, and next time, and then you end up talking one-on-one. I'd rather talk to 50 people in one room, right? In one shot versus 50 individual people, and you're like, why am I not getting money, right? Why is it taking too long? Et cetera, et cetera. So networking, if you have the time, go to one huge room with a lot of people and make some noise. I always tell people, make as much noise as you can.
I like that. Thank you so much for your great insights, your perspective, your advice. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Thank you for being here. Any last comments, ideas?
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for I know it's taken a while for me to to connect, but you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're giving other entrepreneurs the opportunity to be in front of a camera and tell a little bit about themselves, and hopefully after one or a million people see this video, buy from Lingodocs, lingodocs.com. I will talk to everybody. I always direct people to our website. That's our main website, various websites, but lingodocs.com is where you can see various of our products and services. I invite everybody to be a client or even be a partner. I always look for
reseller.
We have a reseller program that people can do exactly what I do on the LingoDocs side, pretty much from a laptop and a desktop printer from home. But it takes a little bit of hustle. It has to. You don't give up. You've heard all the different advices of not giving up. And yes, of course, that's obvious, but be realistic on your dreams, what you call a dream, make them into a goal, and learn how to monetize your product or service. If you are not getting money off of that product or service, test it out. You have to think if you really want to go and proceed in making it a business, because it can consume you and take your money away too. So.
Well, thank you so much for watching. This was Meet an Entrepreneur. We had Lingo here, represented by Armando. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you guys.